What happened when a talk show host crossed the line with Melania Trump? The unfolding of that night left the entire world perplexed. The episode started like any other, with the audience in Los Angeles buzzing with anticipation. The cameras captured the studio's shine, where the elegant and illuminated set blended with the vibrant energy of one of the most watched primetime talk shows. The promise of sharp humor and cutting political comments kept viewers glued to their screens. At the center of it all was Alex Brooks, a host known both for his sharp intelligence and his ability to deconstruct his guests with an almost theatrical charm. Sitting with the confidence of someone who seemed to have absolute control of the situation, Alex flaunted his impeccable smile as the studio lights outlined his figure. "Today we have something truly special," he announced, his tone hinting at a mix of provocation and anticipation. "Someone you never imagined would be here. Get ready for the unexpected." The audience stirred, with murmurs of curiosity echoing through the auditorium. Then, in an almost choreographed manner, the curtains opened, revealing Melania Trump. Dressed in an impeccable ivory suit that exuded sophistication and authority, she walked with a firm posture and a look that seemed to assess every detail around her. The audience's reaction was instant, but divided. Some clapped timidly, while others were visibly shocked. Looks of surprise and discreet murmurs took over the room. Alex, for his part, also showed a moment of surprise, something rare for someone so experienced on stage, but quickly regained his composure, flaunting his characteristic smile. Melania approached with calculated steps, her presence filling the environment. She sat in the guest chair, with a calmness that seemed to disarm the tension in the room. "Thank you for having me," she said with a controlled voice, her accent adding a touch of sophistication to the moment. The audience remained in curious silence, the energy now filled with expectation. It was evident that this would not be a common interview. The night was just beginning, and no one in the studio, not even Alex, could foresee the events that would unfold. The conversation began politely, almost protocol-like, with Alex maintaining his relaxed and charming persona. He leaned back, crossed one leg over the other, and with a meticulously rehearsed smile, initiated the dialogue. "So, Melania, your life has changed a lot since your time in the White House. How is this new phase going?" He seemed genuine, but the more observant could notice a spark of challenge in his eyes. Melania looked him directly in the eyes, her expression firm yet calm. "Life is peaceful," she replied simply. "I am focused on my family, my projects, and the work I do to help children through my initiatives." Her voice, though soft, carried unwavering determination. Alex nodded slowly, as if digesting her words, but there was something in the air, a spark of provocation. "Interesting," he said after a brief pause, "but let's be honest. Many people criticized you for not addressing controversial topics during your time as First Lady. How do you respond to that?" The room fell into absolute silence. Alex's words hung in the air, laden with insinuation. The cameras captured every detail, the unshakable expression of Melania, the attentive gaze of the audience, and, above all, the atmosphere charged with expectation. The stage was set for the unexpected, and the audience could hardly wait for the response. The room seemed frozen in time, as if everyone had stopped breathing, waiting for Melania's reply. But instead of showing any sign of discomfort, she remained unruffled. Her hands rested lightly in her lap, while her steady eyes met Alex's. "I believe actions carry more weight than words," she said, her voice controlled, but with a firmness that sliced through the silence like a blade. "Talking is easy, but acting requires courage. I prefer to make a difference rather than meet others' expectations." There was an almost imperceptible change in the air, as if the confidence of her response began to redefine the dynamic in the studio. Alex leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and determination. He seemed determined to delve deeper into the conversation, to push Melania beyond the limits of what was comfortable. When he opened a smile that resembled a disguised challenge, the audience knew the confrontation was far from over. Actions speak louder than words. "It's an interesting philosophy," Alex commented, tapping his pen against the arm of his chair like a conductor preparing the climax of a symphony. His tone carried a hint of calculated provocation, like someone probing the ground before advancing with more intensity. "But don't you think there are times when words are indispensable, especially when the risks are too high for silence?" Melania tilted her head slightly, her expression remaining impassive. It was as if she was carefully deciding each word before speaking. "I believe everyone has a role to play," she began, pausing for a moment to intensify the impact of her words. "My role was to support my husband and our country in the way I deemed most appropriate." The response seemed like an elegant shield, but Alex, known for his ability to turn any breach into a portal of confrontation, didn't seem willing to back down. He raised an eyebrow, as if ready to question the foundation of her statement. "And supporting your husband meant staying silent, even when his words or actions created divisions that shook the country." The room reacted instantly. Sighs and murmurs spread through the audience like waves on a calm lake after a stone is thrown. It was evident that the question was not only provocative, it was a direct attack on Melania's character and choices. Alex leaned back, crossing his arms, visibly confident that he had landed the next big blow. However, Melania showed no sign of weakness. She allowed the silence to linger for a moment, a pause that made the air feel heavy. When she finally spoke, her voice was as controlled as before, but now carried a more pronounced firmness. "Division has always existed," she declared, her posture upright, like an unshakable fortress. "Blaming a single person for it is simplistic. I prefer to focus on unity rather than seeking scapegoats." There was a wave of murmurs in the audience. The response was unexpected, both in its calmness and its depth. Alex, for his part, seemed briefly taken aback, but soon regained his composure. He let out a brief laugh and murmured, "A fair point, like someone admitting a good move in a difficult game." However, it was clear he was not willing to give up. What happened after the cameras stopped was something no one expected. As soon as the show went into commercial break, the atmosphere in the studio changed. The audience, who minutes before had been engrossed in the drama of the interview, began to murmur frantically, a mix of surprise and admiration. Melania not only answered Alex's incisive questions with composure, she had completely turned the game around, challenging the very confrontational style the host used to dominate his guests. Behind the scenes, the production team sprang into action. Producers hurriedly typed notes, while others nervously exchanged information through headsets. "This segment is going to blow up," someone commented. The possibility of it going viral seemed inevitable. On stage, Alex leaned toward Melania, and his expression, once full of self-confidence, was now more restrained. His smile had a touch of respect that wasn't there at the beginning of the interview. "I admit," he began, his voice slightly lower, "I didn't expect you to handle that so well." Melania met his eyes with a direct gaze and offered a smile that was both polite and slightly enigmatic. "I don't play games, Alex. I speak the truth. That is enough." Her words hung in the air, as if echoing beyond the studio. Alex seemed momentarily disarmed, and for the first time he did not respond with one of his usual quips. He simply nodded slightly, murmuring, "Fair." In the studio corridors, whispers echoed as Melania passed by, her presence radiating a magnetism that seemed to captivate everyone around. Some team members approached to congratulate her on her demeanor, while others simply watched, still processing how she had commanded the conversation. Melania, however, did not seem interested in prolonging interactions. She thanked them politely, but did not linger. When she finally left the building, a crowd of reporters and photographers awaited her, cameras flashing incessantly. "Melania, do you think Alex went too far?" a journalist shouted. "Were you prepared for this interview? Is there anything else you'd like to say?" The questions overlapped, but Melania paused briefly, turned to the cameras with the same serenity she had shown in the studio, and simply replied, "I said what needed to be said." Without further explanation, she got into the waiting car, leaving the crowd agitated and speculating about what would happen next. The next morning, the interview dominated social media. Clips from the show spread like wildfire, accompanied by hashtags like Melania Responds and Alex Challenged, by Melania, which quickly reached the top of global trends. Comments flooded timelines with people from all political spectrums debating every detail, the tone of voice, facial expressions, strategic pauses. News programs replayed the most memorable moments repeatedly, while analysts and experts discussed whether Alex had crossed an ethical line or if Melania had given a masterclass in diplomacy under pressure. The discussion extended beyond the screens. Cafeterias, offices, and dining tables became stages for debates about the limits of journalism and respect for privacy. Could a host, in the name of seeking the truth, cross the boundaries of professionalism? Was it fair to subject someone to such relentless scrutiny? And more importantly, had Melania indeed responded or avoided crucial questions? While the world speculated, Melania remained silent. She chose not to give any additional statements, a decision that only heightened public fascination. Her silence was not seen as a weakness, but as a deliberate choice, a demonstration that sometimes unspoken words have the most powerful impact. Weeks later, Alex Brooks addressed the episode on his show. With a more humble tone, he acknowledged, "I underestimated my guest. Agree or disagree with her, it's undeniable that Melania Trump knows how to command a room." For many, the impact of that event went beyond the individuals involved. It became a reminder of the power of calmness under pressure, the importance of maintaining dignity amidst chaos, and the strength that comes from knowing one's own truth. As the headlines faded, a lesson persisted. In an era marked by heated debates and polarization, Melania had offered a rare example of how to navigate adversity with grace and self-awareness. Her interview became more than a television moment. It was a testament to the power of well-chosen words and the strength of staying true to oneself. If you've made it this far, thank you for following this story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing content. Until next time, stay curious and remember, the truth, even when challenging, is always the most powerful path.